XAI calls Grok 2.5 open source, but how open is it? Microsoft puts Copilot AI into Excel, but says not to trust it when accuracy matters. Another day, another Windows update problem, and a Missouri pizza parlor says, hold the AI. Welcome to Hashtag Trending. I'm your host, Jim Love. Let's get into it. Elon Musk's XAI has released Grok 2.5, claiming that this version is open source. But when you look closely, that's not exactly accurate. Grok is an open weights model. It comes pre-trained and it's free to download. But it comes not with a standard open source license, but what they've called the Grok 2 community license. And here's the catch. The license is revocable. It restricts certain uses. It specifically bans training other AI models on Grok's outputs, and it has some curious reservations when it comes to patents. Now, that's a huge departure from the open source initiative's definition, which stresses free redistribution, no field of use restrictions, and no right to pull back a license once it's granted. Ironically, if we compare that to OpenAI's recent release, GPT-OSS, including the GPT-OSS 120B and 20B models, those are issued under the Apache 2.0 license. Apache is one of the most widely recognized open source licenses. It allows free use, redistribution, modification, even commercial deployment, and it also includes patent protections without the fine print limitations we see in Grok's license. For developers and businesses, this isn't just legal nitpicking. A license like Apache gives you the confidence that you can build on a model, scale it, and even monetize it. A restrictive or revocable license raises some real risks. Who would base their business on a license that could be pulled back at any time, especially from a company that's known for litigation? And Musk does have a track record of litigation. He's sued advertisers who pulled out of Twitter, and right now he's suing both Apple and OpenAI. He calls Apple's plan to integrate ChatGPT into iPhones a security risk, and continues to accuse OpenAI of abandoning its nonprofit mission and being too closed. But that argument gets harder to make if OpenAI is releasing models and weights under a true open source license. So Grok 2.5 may be marketed as open source and an alternative to ChatGPT, but anyone adopting it should take a close look. When it comes to open source, the label doesn't always tell the full story. Excel has been the backbone of business for decades, the place where budgets, forecasts, financial models, and even, believe it or not, nuclear calculations live. Now, Microsoft has embedded Copilot AI directly into Excel. And what could possibly go wrong with that? A lot, apparently, and I'm not referring to the nuclear calculations. But Microsoft's own documentation explicitly warns users not to rely on this AI for any task that demands accuracy and reproducibility. In other words, don't trust the numbers, don't expect the same answer twice. This takes irony to a new level. Let's be honest, spreadsheets are a necessary evil. They're a big part of business, but they have a bad reputation, and some of that is deserved. While they're exceptional tools for relatively small and contained models, a large number of them are huge, bloated, opaque, poorly documented, and notoriously error-prone. One recent study, and it's just one of many, found that 94% of business spreadsheets contain between 1% and up to as high as 28% errors, some of them critical enough to disrupt financial and operational decision-making. Where did I get those numbers? I got them from a spreadsheet. Just kidding. But you know what I mean. Seriously, there have been countless numbers of errors over the years, some large enough to make the news. There was the Reinhart Rogoff economics paper, which influenced global austerity policies, which later revealed to be based on an Excel error that omitted 5 countries, flipping a negative growth conclusion to a positive one. And there was the infamous London whale incident where a flawed Excel-based risk model contributed to JP Morgan losing more than $6 billion. So here's the real irony. We know spreadsheets are already risky, not just because of mistakes in formulas, but because of erroneous data and users who might not be trained or capable of developing, testing, and maintaining them properly. So on top of one technology that's problematic, we've added AI, another technology that is said to lack transparency, be hard to audit, and is equally prone to faults. So take them at their word when Microsoft is saying, yes, don't rely on this. It might be great advice. On a serious note, there are great uses for AI when working with spreadsheets. You can use it to help understand formulas and functions, to teach how to use them, even showing examples with real data. AI can help you to understand and format data. It can look for trends. It can even help you produce some of those analysis and graphics that are so difficult to do on many spreadsheets. But remember, the data and the findings always have to be validated and tested. Another Windows update, another problem. This time it's breaking video streaming. Microsoft's August security update for Windows 11 has created yet another headache. This time it's breaking NDI, the network device interface technology used for streaming video and audio between PCs. Users are reporting severe stuttering, lag, and choppy audio and video when using apps like OBS or NDI tools, especially with display capture turned on. These are some of the most popular tools used for video and video streaming. Microsoft admits the issue affects multiple versions, Windows 11, 24H2, and even Windows 10, 22H2, and 21H2. The root of the problem is how NDI relies on RUDP, the ironically named Reliable User Datagram Protocol. It's designed to combine the speed of UDP with the reliability of TCP, making it ideal for real-time video. But after the patch, that smooth, low-latency connection is reduced to a jittery mess. The official advice? Switch back to TCP or plain UDP, or uninstall the security update. But uninstalling can trigger Windows to reinstall the patch later, and skipping security updates carries its own risks. This is just another in a series of errors. The August update has already been blamed for installation failures and forced Microsoft to issue urgent out-of-band fixes for other bugs it introduced, including failures with SSD drives and more. The irony is hard to miss. Security updates are supposed to make systems safer. And if you follow cybersecurity today, you will have caught David as host on Monday with a story about how you can turn a reported error called a CVE into an attack in mere minutes. So it becomes essential to upgrade and do it quickly. But clown shows like Microsoft's had this month just make it harder for people to consider adopting a fix right away. A family-run restaurant in Wentzville, Missouri, Stefanina's, has put up a sign asking customers not to use Google's AI to find their specials. Why? Because customers were showing up expecting deals that didn't exist, all thanks to Google AI Hallucinations. As the restaurant's owner, Eva Gannon, put it, as a small business, we can't honor a Google AI special. It turns out that the AI was inventing specials, like offering a large pizza at the price of a small, or listing menu items that weren't even on offer, leaving staff to deal with disappointed and even angry patrons. It's one of those stories that could seem a little humorous, but there's a serious punchline. When AI invents deals that aren't real, it's not a joke for the business it sends customers to. It can result in frustrated customers, wasted staff time, and a hit to the business's credibility. And like it or not, each AI model gets tarred with the same brush. Personally, I stopped using Gemini some time ago because of the number of hallucinations I found. Now, that's by no means a carefully researched finding. I have friends who swear by Gemini. Personally, I find OpenAI and, to some degree, Claude more accurate. So where do we go from here? Well, the real lesson is that while AI-generated summaries may be fast and convenient, when it's critical, you are best to check what's actually on special in the same old way. Call the restaurant, check their official site, or here's some real nostalgia, ask to talk to somebody who works there. You don't actually have to hold the AI, but when it's important, validate it. And we'd like to wish Linux a happy birthday. On this day 34 years ago, an unknown computer science student from Finland announced that a new free operating system project was starting to get ready. That student was Linus Benedict Torvalds, and it went on to become Linux. Happy birthday. And that's our show. If you like what we're doing, please share the show with others, and many of you apparently have because our numbers have gone up a lot. But if you can give us a like or a comment on your favorite podcast app or site, it helps. We're found everywhere: Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and more. We're back on Google and Alexa speakers, albeit at a cost in terms of time and dollars. And that's one reason why we'd like you to also consider supporting us with just a little more than the cost of a cup of coffee a month. Go to technewsday.com, that's technewsday.com, click on the Donate tab, and while you're there, drop us a note. We love to hear from you. There's a Contact Us link as well at technewsday.com. If you're watching this video on YouTube, just leave a comment under the video, but your contributions would be gratefully accepted as well. I'm your host, Jim Love. Have a terrific Tuesday.